What if one morning you stepped outside and every tree on Earth was gone? No falling branches, no warning sign, just an eerie emptiness. Gone in a blink. No forests, no jungles, no trees lining your streets. Even the tiny one your grandfather planted in your backyard vanished. At first, your mind might struggle to process it. It feels like a dream or a nightmare. The horizon looks wider, but it doesn't feel right. The world seems too quiet. No chirping birds, no squirrels running up trunks, no shade under which children play, lovers sit, or elders rest. Just silence, still air, bare ground, an unnatural sky. You try to breathe, and you do, but it feels thinner, like the air is missing something. Because it is. Trees were not just part of the scenery, they were life support. Every year, trees absorbed over 40% of the world's man-made carbon dioxide emissions. They filtered pollutants, released oxygen, balanced moisture in the air. Without them, oxygen levels begin to fall. Not enough to make you faint instantly, but just enough to leave you tired, sluggish, uneasy. And this is only day one. By the second day, global temperature sensors show a spike. Urban areas begin to bake under the sun. With no canopy of leaves to block solar radiation, buildings absorb heat like ovens. The concrete remembers. And it returns the heat, slowly, suffocatingly, at night. Hospitals start receiving heatstroke patients in spring. Because forests weren't just green zones. They were natural air conditioners, cooling the earth, controlling wind currents, balancing rainfall. And now that balance is gone. The Amazon rainforest, often called the lungs of the earth, is a brown void on satellite images. Billions of trees gone. So is the Congo Basin. And Southeast Asia's jungles. The Siberian taiga. The North American redwoods. Gone. The soil beneath begins to shift. Tree roots once held it in place. Now, without them, erosion begins. Dry winds pick up dust. It clogs the air. It enters your home, your mouth, your eyes. And when the rains arrive, they're no longer gentle. There's no sponge-like forest floor to absorb the water. Rain hits hard, fast. It pounds the bare ground. It creates mudslides. Floods tear through towns. What used to be life-giving has now turned violent. By week one, farmers in dozens of countries begin to report crop failures. The bees are disappearing. They've lost the flowers they once pollinated in tree canopies. So have the birds, the bats, the butterflies. Ecosystems unravel. And with it, the food chain. No more apples. No more almonds. No more cacao. Coffee vanishes. So does cinnamon. And countless other things we never realized came from trees. Prices rise. Pantry shelves go empty. People hoard. Tensions rise. But the danger is not just in the food we see, it's in the food we grow. Agriculture becomes unpredictable. Rainfall patterns shift because the trees that once released moisture into the sky are no longer here. Droughts appear in places that never had them. Floods drown lands that once grew wheat, rice and corn. And in the middle of it all is us. Confused, panicked, searching for solutions. But we were warned. For decades, scientists told us that trees were more than green decor. They were climate regulators, carbon traps, rainmakers, life shelters. But we forgot. And now the earth reminds us, with heat, with storms, with silence. The kind of silence that only comes when a heartbeat stops. But the silence doesn't just haunt the forests. It seeps into the cities. Because without trees, urban life begins to collapse in ways we never prepared for. Every major city in the world becomes hotter, louder, and more suffocating. Pollution levels skyrocket. Without leaves to trap particulate matter, dust and smog fill the air. Millions begin to suffer from respiratory issues. Children and the elderly are hit first. Asthma attacks, chronic coughing, headaches that don't go away. Hospitals overflow, but not with viruses, with the invisible impact of a vanished forest. And yet, that's just the surface. Trees were home to 80% of the world's terrestrial biodiversity. Now, the animals have nowhere to go. Monkeys in the Amazon, leopards in India, parrots in the Congo, pandas in China, gone. Not over years, but weeks. With their food source gone, their nests gone, their protection gone, they vanish. Some migrate, some starve, some wander into towns, lost and frightened. But most simply disappear, extinct. And when they do, so do the thousands of invisible relationships they had with other species. The fungi that lived on their roots, the insects that pollinated their flowers, the microbes that thrived in the soil beneath. Ecosystems, built over millions of years, dissolve like paper in water. and humanity begins to feel the cracks beneath its feet. In the economy, in culture, even in our mental health. The timber industry collapses overnight. No more paper, no more wooden furniture, no more construction-grade lumber. The price of housing spikes because alternative materials are rare and expensive. Rural communities that once thrived on forest trade go jobless. Loggers, fruit pickers, paper workers, all unemployed. Migration begins from villages to cities. Cities already overwhelmed by heat, pollution, and scarcity. And then comes the drought. Because trees didn't just regulate heat, they were part of the planet's water cycle. Each large tree could release hundreds of litres of water vapour into the atmosphere every day. That vapour became clouds. That cloud became rain. That rain became rivers. Now, without it, rivers begin to shrink. Underground water stops getting replenished. Boreholes run dry. Taps stop flowing. Entire regions start to brown. In Africa, the Sahel expands further south. In South America, central Brazil begins to turn into desert. In Southeast Asia, rice fields become cracked earth. And in California, fires begin, and they never stop. Because when you remove the trees, you remove the rain, but the heat remains. And heat, without moisture, brings fire. Wildfire is that don't just burn, they consume. They eat what's left. Grasses, shrubs, crops, homes, hope. The global food supply shrinks with every passing week. Bananas gone. Coconuts gone. Avocados, dates, papayas, cashews, gone. Even basic crops begin to struggle. The climate is no longer predictable. Rain doesn't come when it should. Sun scorches when it's least welcome. And pests that trees once naturally repelled now roam free. Food prices go up, then double, then triple. Riots break out in food markets. Governments begin rationing supplies. The internet floods with videos of chaos. And beneath it all, the earth stays silent. Because trees were our first climate warriors. Standing still, growing quietly, balancing everything. We saw them as background. We cut them for land, for furniture, for fire. And now, without them, we're watching our world unravel. Piece by piece.